Hola, bienvenidos. Welcome to Spanish con Señora Bisbee. Today our objective is to take a look at demonstrative adjectives and learn how to use those so that we can clarify distance a little better. So let's take a look. Okay, so to start, let's talk about what I mean by distances. In Spanish, there's a lot of terms or ways of structuring things to relate distances between either people or things. In one of these cases, we're talking about literal spatial relationships, so las relaciones espaciales. So we're taking a look at how far something is from someone and choosing the words to express that. So for example, if we've got our speaker here, el hablante. Now, for the speaker, they are the center of everything that they're talking about. And then distances get a little further subsequently from them. So if we've got el hablante here, if they're referencing items, there's 3 categories of distance in Spanish we're going to take a look at. Close to the speaker, a bit further away, and then way further away. So for example, a lot of times the inner ring is thought of the speaker itself. If someone's listening, that's the next step away. And then furthest. Now in English it's tricky because we only have these first 2. We say this and that. But in Spanish, we're going to be able to say this book, that book, and that book way over there. There's that extra third ring to really show an even further distance. So how do you express those in Spanish? Let's take a look. All right. So these things are called demonstrative adjectives. Now, demonstrative sounds like the word demonstrate. There's a reason for that. These special adjectives are used to point out someone or something and its distance to the speaker. So that sounds pretty fancy, but it's just the words in English, this, that, but over there, these, those over there. So when you're saying those terms, you're automatically giving them a distance. Like if I say, bring me that marker, versus bring me this marker. This would be closest to me. That implies a little further away. One rule to note with these is that they go before their noun. They are adjectives, but they go before their noun in Spanish. And they have to agree in quantity and gender, just like other Spanish adjectives do. So if your noun is masculine and singular, you're going to choose the masculine singular demonstrative adjective as well. So what are the demonstrative adjectives? Well, for this, we have este, esta. So masculine, feminine. And remember, this column's all singular. This. What if we want to say these, which is the plural form? Estos, estas. That. Ese, esa. Those, esos, esas. That, over there. Aquel, aquella. Those, over there. Aquellos, aquellas. So those are our demonstrative adjectives, and they're different variations based on gender as well as quantity. Now, for spelling, just note that in the singular, this and that have e's at the end, but as plurals, it changes to an o. This little rhyme I took from our textbook that we use, Realidades, and it helps remind you how to spell it. This and these have t's, that and those don't. This and these have t's, that and those don't. So use that to help you remember what your spelling should be. Okay, so let's talk about how these relate to distances. Well, thinking back to the drawing from the first slide, we have our speaker. The speaker determines the distance we're working with because it's their viewpoint and the distance that they perceive that matters when they speak or write. So you could have really close to them, further away, way far away. So there's terms that you're going to see pop up that would indicate distance as well, like if you're using demonstratives and fill in the blanks, for example. Here is a term that indicates close to the speaker, and you might see aquí or acá. Now, these terms in red vary regionally, so certain countries use aquí, some you'll hear acá, it depends. So to keep it simple, I do simplify which ones I use in my classes, but just be aware there are other variations, and they vary, again, regionally, so based on what country you're in. And this chart I took from this textbook here. So here, closest to the speaker. The next step away, the green ring, you would see something like allí, allá, allí, with no H in there. So allí with the L's makes like more of a Y sound versus allí there. Listener, they would possibly be in this ring, or the distance is a little further. Más allá is over there, so it's far from both the speaker and the listener, furthest away. Now again, as I said, this varies regionally, so to keep it simple when I'm teaching it, I use 3 distance cues. Aquí, allí, allá. So aquí is going to be closest to the speaker, allí a little bit further, and allá furthest away. And that's how you determine which demonstrative you wish to use. So for example, if you're talking about a book, like we were in the first slide, and you want to say this book, and you're saying it's here, that's going to be este libro because it's closest to the speaker. But if you want to say allí, that book over there, a little bit further away, you'd say ese libro. Now, on occasion, you'll hear aquel, aquella, aquellos, aquellas. That means furthest away, significant distance. Now, that doesn't mean it really has to be super far. You can use it for exaggeration to an extent as well. So let's say I'm sitting on one side of the room and I really don't want to get up. I'm just feeling very lazy today and I don't want to get that book. Well, I could say, oh, can you get aquel libro, like way over there, is what I'm saying. So even though it's not hugely away from me, I'm trying to express that to me it is, and hopefully someone else will help me out and get it for me. So those are our distances to keep in mind. Aquí, closest, allí, a little bit further, allá, furthest away. And they're corresponding rows of demonstrative adjectives, so we know which one to use, beyond just translation. Other terms I keep in mind too, as far as distances go, would be prepositional phrases you've seen. For example, like next to, al lado de, would be super close, so it would be speaker level, versus nearby, cerca de, would be a little bit further, and then lejos de, far away. So you might see those terms too in regards to distance to give you clues on which demonstrative to use. Alright, so each of these sentences in English requires a demonstrative adjective, and we should put them into Spanish. So let's give this a try. Some things to remember. Remember, just like in English, the demonstrative has to go before its noun. You need to agree with the noun in gender and quantity, and choose the right demonstrative adjective to relate distance. Remember, this would be close to the speaker, versus those would be further away. That way over there would be super far away. So see if you can put these sentences into Spanish, and we'll check in and see how you did. Alright, I want to use this book for the project. Yo quiero usar este libro para el proyecto. I chose este because it's this book, which means it's closest to me, the speaker. Libro is masculine and singular. Este is as well, so I've got the right demonstrative placed before my noun. Él necesita esos marcadores ahora. He needs those markers now. So those is a little bit further away. Marcadores is markers, masculine and plural. So I need esos, which is also those, but masculine and plural. Ellas compraron los jeans en aquella tienda. They bought the jeans in that store over there. So in English it's kind of clunky because, like I said earlier, we typically only work with this and that, versus in Spanish there's 3 rings, this, that, and that over there. So for something furthest away, the store super far, aquella tienda. So it's the furthest distance. Now tienda is singular and feminine, so my demonstrative is singular and feminine as well. Alright, and that's the basics for demonstrative adjectives. So again, when you're working with these to start, this type specifically goes before its noun. You have to make sure that gender and quantity agree with the noun, since these do act like adjectives. And again, they're super helpful because they really distinctly tell distance. They tell your perspective as the speaker. Is something close to you? Are you referring to something a little further away? Or are you demonstrating that something's even further away? So work with these and you'll be able to relate distances to those that are either listening to you or reading what you're writing. Gracias, buena suerte. Y nos vemos.